Hi everyone. I hope you hear me well and you see me. So we are to start our next webinar by Geoalert. It's hosted by Geoalert and I'll tell viewers about our company. So this webinar, this event is going to be dedicated to one of the functionality that we are working on. And this functionality is aimed at enabling of advanced tools for image research and for satellite and aerial imagery use with Mapflow. Let me introduce myself. I'm Georgie, I'm CEO of Geoalert. Geoalert is a research and development company developing tools for deep learning analysis of imagery on a large scale. Our core product is Mapflow. Mapflow can be accessed publicly on mapflow.ai. And this is the platform that provides advanced analytical tools that's what we call AI mapping. And it can be used by anyone. It can be used for free. We have some advanced commercial plans available to our business users, to corporate users, but you can get accustomed with Mapflow by using our free version. And also important to say that we develop plugins for QGIS, and this is quite popular plugin which is called Mapflow, the same as our core product, and it can be downloaded for free. It's open source, it's published on our GitHub, and you can try it to get accustomed, to get familiarized with Mapflow, especially if you are familiar with QGIS. And my current webinar will be dedicated to introducing you to this new latest version of our plugin that enables the new functionality of image research. I will touch briefly the functionality of image research. Actually, it's quite an advanced functionality, and we are working on it continuously, adding more features. So let's get started. Let's look at what we have now, and I will tell you a little bit about what is going to be developed in our next plugin releases and then our next releases of Mapflow. So starting from what Mapflow is, I would like to share with you how do you access actually Mapflow. Let me do it here. So you gonna go mapflow.ai. You can log in, or otherwise, if you don't have account yet, you can register your account and start playing around with Mapflow for free. You get some free credits and you can try our models that are available publicly. Okay, that's how our web UI looks like, and this is quite straightforward and simple to be used by anyone who want to analyze imagery. And this is a project that I created for today's webinar. Usually you have this number of models available by default presented in your web UI. But today I'm going to show you a little bit more tools, because our topic is dedicated to image research. And to try the image research, we need to get familiarized with QGIS plugin, because our current implementation of image research is fully available, and you can get most of it using QGIS. The work of the implementation of image research in web application is currently in progress, and we will tell more about it, and we will show more in our next webinars, in our next user guides. This is kind of the first in the series of our webinars. So you need to, showing you here, you need to outline some area of interest as it usually goes, and you need to go to the analysis. Switching to the topic of imagery basemaps, I would like to show you some of the imagery basemaps that are available currently in Mapflow. By default, you can use these imagery basemaps that are presented here, but I have a little bit extended list of basemaps because I have the special access to some of them. By default, you have two of our basemaps, which is Mapbox and which is Global Mosaic 2022, this one. And you can start analyzing these particular basemaps. Okay, that's it. What's the difference of basemap and the imagery search? Let me show it on example of QGIS. So now I'm switching to QGIS, and I'm showing you our current implementation, our current version of Mapflow plugin for QGIS. So if you don't have this plugin, you need to install it using public repository of plugins available for QGIS. It's called Mapflow. You can find it here. You can install it. So nothing is truly challenging about this. So let's imagine that we already installed it. And I have my account on Mapflow. And here I want to get you introduced to the plugins interface and especially to the tool which is called Imagery Search. The plugin interface looks a little bit more complicated than the web UI, and it's understandable. We need to combine a lot of features in quite small space without having a lot of linked pages, a lot of linked tabs. And one of the tab is called Imagery Search. And what it allows particularly to search for available satellite imagery over your area of analysis. Let's create first the area of analysis. So here in this plugin sidebar, we have all that is needed to run the analysis. And first of all, we need to define the name of our processing, then we need to define the area of analysis. Let's say I'm gonna analyze some area, I don't know where. Okay, let's go somewhere in Turkey. Let it be our area of analysis. Quite diverse area. We have different classes of here, the vegetation, the lawns. I'm just considering based on the OpenStreetMap, which is available here. Actually, when you start using QGIS, usually you can connect this base map, OpenStreetMap, just to get navigated in the space, so to say, just to find some location that you are interested in. Okay, let's create the area of analysis. And to create the area of analysis, I will use this option, which allows me to create the area on the map. I can also create the area using the map extent. So I got this area. And I want to run the imagery search. And you see, I'm here in the imagery search tab. I can use two options here, mosaic or image. And what's the difference? The mosaic is, that's what is connected to imagery base maps. Let's try if there are any mosaics, if there are any base maps that are corresponding to this period of dates that I defined here. Okay, let's try. Maybe yes, maybe not. We don't know. Maybe we have to extend our period of dates to search for more mosaics. And now I see, yeah, this is the imagery base map available for this period of date. And it's ArcGIS World Imagery. Actually, this is quite powerful base map because it actually what the base map is, I didn't say that. It's we consider the base map to be some solid coverage composed of different satellite and aerial imagery available over the global landmass. Maybe base map is limited to some countries, maybe it's supposed to be available all over the whole globe, or the whole planet. So ArcGIS World Imagery is one of the well-known imagery base maps available for subscribers of ArcGIS Online, and it's also available for Mapflow subscribers. You can get connected to ArcGIS Imagery by request or by some advanced subscription to Mapflow. If you have your own ArcGIS account, you can use this account to create your connection. I will show you how to create connections here a little bit later. So, what do we have here? In this imagery search results, we see that there is the particular fraction, I don't know, particular image is available dated by 2024 11/7. So it's quite recent, I would rather say. For now, we can preview this image right from here, but we can add this ArcGIS imagery to our map from the available imagery sources. If I'm the Mapflow user who has access to ArcGIS World Imagery, I can preview it on the map by adding it to my layers. Okay, this is how I do it. So now I see that there is the imagery base map that is available here, and this part of this base map, which is highlighted, is dated by 2024. So it's quite recent, and I can use it for my analysis if I'm going to get some updated information, not out of date, not very old, and so on. So what do I have here in the imagery search metadata attributes? We can open the attribute table in QGIS using the QGIS core functionality. And I can see the whole attributes that are related to this particular chunk of the imagery base map. Here we see the date, we see other attributes that are new, but because there is no information actually is presented here. We see the preview URL that also we can use it in the external browser. We can see and this is kind of another option that you can use for your search, which displays the imagery zoom that this mosaic is available on. And this is important to know because this is the point of this is quite tricky thing about the ArcGIS World Imagery. It's not available for the whole world on the maximum zoom. It's available for some of the parts of the world. It's available with zoom limitations. That's why we included this zoom indicator into the search results. And here, how you can add, how you can show this mosaic zoom in your search results table. Now you see that for this particular chunk of the imagery base map, this mosaic is available on both of the zooms, on 17th and on 18th. And this meaningful for some of the areas you won't get the results available for on both of the zooms, but you will get only one of the zooms, for example, limited to 17 zooms. So you have to take it into consideration. You have to take it into account if you are going to run your analysis. And for us, it's also important because when you use Mapflow, you can use this. Okay, let's start some analysis for the area that we defined. Here we see that image is quite oblique. The buildings are shifted, and there's some specifics of this image, but okay. We can choose one of the models. Let's choose this one. This is quite new, and recently it has been updated. So test the area of analysis. And I will start my analysis using ArcGIS imagery. Yes, so the data source is defined here, the model is defined here, the processing is going, and we have to wait it until it will be completed. So, but, okay, getting back to the imagery search, what else do we have here? We can define different period of dates, and we can remain searching for the mosaics. What other mosaics do we have in this search tool? Let me show you. Here we are. We have another global mosaic, which is quite out of date for this particular area of analysis. And it's called global mosaic. Actually, it's composed of different imagery coming from Chinese satellites. Chinese satellites is a very powerful constellation, and they are skyrocketing in the number of satellites launching into the space. But actually, there are not so up to date. And we are working on updating this global mosaic. We are working with our partners to get it updated. But now for some of the areas, it's quite old. It's only for 2022, but it also can be used if you're okay with this. Yeah, here we got the notification about finished processing, and I will switch back to the processing tab to show you the results. But here you see that the CG mosaic is also available here. And it's going to be updated. For some areas, you won't find the recent ArcGIS World Imagery, but you need to switch to another data providers. Okay, let's experiment with more areas, and I will show you later. The results of analysis can be downloaded by double click. You see the results that are downloaded here. You see the forest mask, you see some crowns, 3 crowns detected over this forest mask in this particular area. And you can use it as a usual layer, vector layer in your QGIS project. So that's pretty much about the search of imagery, about the search of imagery-based maps. And there are much more to know about this, but let us show you another option that allows to search for images, for satellite images. And I will briefly show you it here for some other area of interest, I don't know. Let's go somewhere in the rural area. I don't know, let's choose this small town, small settlement in Turkey. Okay, let's create another area of analysis. We created it. And now we are going to search for the available imagery of this particular area of interest. We have to clear our search results, otherwise we have to start the new search, and we have to define the period of dates. Let's see if something is available here for 2024. For 2024, I'm not sure. So we might have not found any results. Yes, and we see that the results are empty. So let's check if there are some satellite images available for this area of interest that are corresponding to our dates. And here we are. We got some satellite imagery which is more recent, which is more up to date, so we can use it. But this is another kind of workflow, and we are working on fully automatic implementation of this workflow. But for now, you have to order this imagery through through the direct contact with us. This is the only option available for now. But this is what we have now, and this is what is going to be developed in the next releases. So you will be able to run your analysis automatically, but for now you have to contact us to order this particular imagery. If you are not okay with the dates of the imagery-based maps, you can go for the particular area, for the particular image, and you can order it. You can preview it. Of course, you can estimate the quality of the image. For those of you who are familiar with data catalogs, it's quite the usual workflow. And there are many catalogs established developed by data providers, by satellite data providers that allow this kind of workflow. You have to search for the imagery, you have to define your area of interest, you have to contact them, to write them some email. And this is quite, I don't know, it's quite slow, to speak the truth. You need to interact, you need to iterate with the sales representative about the availability of your image, about getting this order. But this is nothing super challenging about this. So this is how it works now. And what we are going to do in the next releases, we are going to automate this workflow to be capable of analyzing on the fly. That's pretty much about our image research tool capabilities that is available here in our plugin for QGIS. And you're welcome. I encourage you to get familiarized with it in more detail using our documentation. So here you go. You need to switch to docs mapflow.ai. Here's the section image research. You can see which providers are available now, which providers are also can be compatible to Mapflow, like Maxar Secure Watch. Actually, I don't know if it's deprecated or not, but this is the former brand name of the very useful service provided by Maxar Technologies that is also compatible to QGIS plugin. Still, please address your questions to me who are not getting used to this image research tool and who have questions about what is the difference between imagery base maps and the images. So you can put your questions into the chat box. Okay, don't hesitate to put your questions into the chat. And in the meanwhile, I'll show you the example of the public and open website. It's called Open Aerial Map. It contains some of images published by users in the crowdsourcing mode, so to say. This is not the solid coverage of the whole of the world. There are not so many, or there are very few of the professional distributors of the aerial imagery. Most of the images are collected by enthusiasts, so to say, by users. But what is interesting about this resource that it has, for some areas, it has quite interesting coverage, like for this area of the 1 meter resolution, and you can get deeper into the details of this mosaic provided for this area of interest. What was I going to show you is that any such image tile server, any such coverage is compatible with Mapflow plugin. And how do you do it? Actually, how do you use imagery-based maps in QGIS, and how do you add more imagery-based maps to your projects? So let's take this example. Here we have some coordinates of the map and some imagery available over this area. And you would like to check if this image is compatible with Mapflow. Okay, what do we need to do? We need to add our custom data source using this tab, using this tool. and it's you can add. Okay, you can add your data provider here, and we need to copy and paste the link to this particular mosaic, to this particular image by OpenAerial Map. Okay, we put it here. We save this data provider here in our QGIS, and we can preview it on the map just as we did with ArcGIS world imagery. Now it's available here in our project, but what is more important, that is available for instant analysis using Mapflow. Not the super resolution of the image, but for some tasks it's good enough. So we can use it for the imagery, for the instant imagery analysis. So as usual, as I showed you before, we need to create the area of analysis. Let's do it again. We need to select our model, the new one that has been updated recently. And let's say test RM OpenAerial Map analysis. Let's start. So this is pretty much about how it works with adding more data providers to your Mapflow project using QGIS. For some of those who are used to QGIS, there is the well-known and quite popular plugin, which is called Quick Map Services. It's available. You can also install it in QGIS. And it has a huge number of downloads because many of users are struggling with the question about how to add imagery-based map data providers into their Mapflow project. Into their QGIS project. But what I'm going to show you here, we have some open data sources that are not that are listed here in the plugin. But if you start typing, I don't know, something in this search like Google, this is not the top secret that you will find a lot of data sources added by users. And sometimes it's not corresponding well to the terms of use of the services. But what would it be if we looked for ArcGIS, for example, for the same area of interest? Let's try it. Yeah, we see that there are a lot of base maps provided by Esri, by ArcGIS. For example, Esri World Imagery is going to be pretty similar to what I showed you before. So you can use this useful tool to add some imagery-based maps to your project. There are a lot of ways, actually, to add imagery-based maps to your project. There is the core functionality of QGIS, like this one. You can go to the browser, you can go to this tool called XYZ tiles, and you can define the new connection here. You just need to put your link to the imagery-based map to the imagery-based map server here. It's going to be in this format usually. Sometimes it comes to reverse Y coordinate, and it's called TMS. And in QGIS, there is the tricky way to connect such a data source. But we are not going to get deeper into all these details. Let's view briefly the results of our analysis using OpenAerial Map. So that's what we got here for this particular area of interest. So we used, as I said, we used this map. Okay, let's disconnect all this one. This one map is clipped by our area of interest, and it's downloaded from OpenAerial Map as an external server. Okay, so we are gonna get running out of time. So I'm finishing here. This was quite brief introduction to our image research tool. And this is the very first event in the series of user guides to advanced functionality of Mapflow using different applications like Vue.js, like Web UI, and there are going to be more in this series. So you're welcome to stay tuned. You're welcome to follow us, and you're welcome to join our next webinars. And now you're welcome to type your questions into the chat, into Q&A session, and I will do my best to answer them briefly in the remaining 5 minutes.